Good morning, students. So today we will discuss grade 9th geography chapter 1, India size and location. Now in this chapter, students, we will study about India, its size, its location, our neighboring countries, and India and the world. So let's start the chapter from page number 1 now of your NCERT book. Now in this, the introduction is given that India is one of the ancient civilizations in the world. So India is one of the ancient civilizations. Civilization means the society, culture, and way of life of a particular area. So we are ancient civilizations in the world, and India has achieved multifaceted socio-economic progress. Multifaceted means which is having many sides. So we have achieved that kind of progress during the last 5 decades. It has moved forward, displaying remarkable, extraordinary progress in the field of agriculture, industry, technology, and overall economic development. If we talk about of our economy now, so we are the fifth largest economy, and our GDP is in trillions now. And if we see the startups, we are also leading in that also. And if you see agriculture, if you see industry, if you see the tertiary sector, so we are growing. We are the booming economy of the world nowadays, India. And India has also contributed significantly to the making of world history. Now let's talk about the location where we are located. So students, India is a vast country, and if we see 0 degree latitude, that is equator, we lie entirely in the northern hemisphere. And our latitudinal extent is 8 degree 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north. 8 degree 4 minute north is our southernmost latitude, which is Kanyakumari, and 37 degrees 6 minute north is our northernmost latitude, which is in Kashmir. So please be very careful about latitude. Again, I am telling you the extent. Latitudinal extent means, students, the extent or the two latitudes between which Indian mainland is lying. So that is 8 degree 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north. So students, now if you see now our latitudinal extent, so it is given in degree. The primary unit in which latitude and longitudes are given is in degree, and there are 360 degree of longitude. So we have 360 degrees of longitude, that is 180 degree east and 180 degree west, and we have 180 degree of latitudes, that is 90 degree north and 90 degree south. And now further, each degree can be broken into 60 minutes, and each minute can be divided into 60 seconds. So this was about latitudinal extent, I have told you. And now about longitudinal extent. So we have taken longitude. Our 0 degree longitude is from Greenwich prime meridian, so that is our longitudinal extent. And our longitudinal extent means the two longitudes within which the Indian mainlands lie. So our longitudinal extent is 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degree 25 minutes east. According to our longitudinal extent, we are in eastern hemisphere. Please students, keep this in mind. According to 0 degree latitude, we are in northern hemisphere, and according to 0 degree longitude, we are in eastern hemisphere. Now the Tropic of Cancer, that is 23 degree 30 minutes north, divides our country into two equal parts. So the 8 states through which this Tropic of Cancer passes through, so you should keep this in mind, that 8 states are there through which this Tropic of Cancer passes, that is starting from west, Gujarat, Rajasthan, then Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura and Mizoram. So these are the 8 states through which our Tropic of Cancer passes. So Tropic of Cancer is 23 degree 30 minutes north. Now, if we see our India map, students, to the southeast and to the southwest, we have certain islands. If we see the southwest, we have Lakshadweep Islands, and there the sea is Arabian Sea. Okay, on the west of India we have Arabian Sea, and the islands which are located there is Lakshadweep. And if we talk about the eastern side, on the eastern side we have Bay of Bengal, and there the islands located is Andaman and Nicobar. And if we talk about our southernmost point of the Indian mainland, then it is Kanyakumari. And if we talk about the southernmost point of the Indian Union, that will be Indira Point. So, and the southernmost point, students, of the Indian Union, Indira Point, it got submerged under the seawater in 2004 during tsunami. So please keep this in mind. So again I am telling you the islands. On the western side we have Arabian Sea, and there we have Lakshadweep Islands, and on the eastern sides we have Bay of Bengal, and there we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now let's see the size of India. So the land mass of India has an area of 3.28 million square kilometers. So please, you have to learn this, that how much area we have, 3.28 million square kilometer. Please underline this in your book. And India's total area accounts for about 2.4% of the total geographical area of the world. Students, we were talking about the size of India, and on page 1 we have talked about size. That is, the total land mass we are having is 3.28 million square kilometer, and the total area accounts for India's total area accounts for about 2.4% of total geographical area of the world. Now the figure 1.2 is given in your book, students, and from here it is very much clear that we are 7th largest country of the world. If you see the 6 countries which are ahead of us is Russia, Canada, USA, China, Brazil, Australia, and then India. So it is very much clear that India is the 7th largest country of the world. Now let's talk about our land boundary. So our land boundary is 15,200 kilometer. You again underline this, and you have to learn this, students. And the total length of the coastline of the mainland, including Andaman and Nicobar now, and Lakshadweep also, so all these we are including, is 7,516.6 kilometer. So our land boundary 15,200 kilometer, and our coastline 7,516.6 kilometer. So please underline these figures, and you have to learn them. Now students, India is bounded by Yangfold mountains in the northwest, north and northeast. So if you see the physical feature map of India, so in the northwest we have Hindu Kush, Pamir North, and then moving to Karakoram, Ladakh, Jaskar, and then Namcha Barma to the northeast, Kanchenjunga and Dholagiri. So many mountains we have in the northwest, north and northeast also. Now if we see the map, students, then south of about 22 degree north latitude means 22 degree north latitude, little above from the Tropic of Cancer. From there, 22 degree north latitude, India begins to taper. Taper means narrow down, and then extend towards into the Indian Ocean, dividing into 2 seas, then Arabian Sea on the west and Bay of Bengal on the east. So be very clear which sea is where. Arabian Sea west, Bay of Bengal east. So now students, there is a map given on the page 3 of your book. Now if you see that map, now the latitudinal and the longitudinal extent of Indian mainland is about 30 degrees. Keep this in mind. Our latitudinal extent from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, and our longitudinal extent from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, it is 30 degree now. Despite this fact, the east-western extent appears to be smaller than the north-south extent. But if we see with the naked eye, then this extent, north-south extent, seems to be bigger, appears to be larger than the west-east extent. Now from students, from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, there is a time lag of 2 hours. So there is a time lag. So I'm telling you 30 degrees, the difference is of 30 degrees. Now our earth covers 1 degree in 4 minutes, okay, and our earth cover 15 degree in 1 hour. So 30 degree, obviously 2 hours. So that's why the time lag between Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat is of 2 hours, and I have told you how 2 hours. And students, we have taken our standard meridian. Our standard meridian we have taken from Mirzapur. We have taken the mean of these two longitudinal extent. So student, keep in mind that the time is determined by the longitudes. So we have taken the longitude 82 degree 30 minutes east, standard meridian. This is our standard meridian, and we have taken it. It is passing through Mirzapur, and it is known as standard meridian for India, and we have taken it as a standard time for the whole country. So for the whole country, we have taken a standard meridian from Mirzapur. According to how we have taken Mirzapur, we have taken the mean of these two longitudinal extent, that is 68 degree 7 minutes plus 97 degree 25 minutes. So we have taken mean of this number, and it is 82 degree 30 minutes east. Keep this in mind, underline this. It can be asked, where is our standard meridian? Now the latitudinal extent influences the duration of day and night as one moves from south to north. So I told you that longitude determines the time, and all other things, the temperature, the climate, and other things is determined by the latitude. If we move from south to north, then what is happening? There is it influences the duration of day and night. Like at Kanyakumari, that much influence is not there, difference is not there between duration of day and night. Why? Because Kanyakumari is very near to the equator. Only 8 degree difference is there between the equator and Kanyakumari. And if you see, so there full day the sunlight is as usual. There is not a much difference between the evening and the noon, means that much brightness is there, and then after the sunset night is there. But if we see the Kashmir, it is 37 degree or more, even more away from the equator, so the distance is more. So there the difference between duration and night is more visible. Means noon will be there, then we'll approach towards the evening, and it is visible that now the evening is there, and then the night. So the latitudinal extent influences the duration of day and night as we move from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. So now India and the world. Students, let's see India and the world. Now Indian landmass has a central location. So if we see the world map, we have a central location in West Asia, like the countries like Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Turkey, UAE. Okay, so here this is in West Asia. And then we have a central location between the West Asia and the East Asia. East Asia countries like China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea. So we are centrally located. And India, you know, it is a southward extension of the Asian continent. If we see the world map, we are in Southeast Asia we are located. And the Trans-Indian Ocean routes, which connect the countries of the Europe in the west and the countries of East Asia, provide very important location to the India. So if we see our sea routes, the map is given on page 4. Students, there you can see the sea routes. So we are, through our sea routes, we are connected to the countries in the Europe, in the West. European countries are there, France, UK, Germany, Italy, and countries of East Asia also, China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea. So through our sea routes, we are, because of the Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, we are connected with these countries, and it is very important if we see the trade perspective. Now the Deccan Peninsula. Now what is peninsula, students? Peninsula, the landmass which is surrounded by water from the 3 sides, so that is peninsula. So it also protrudes into the Indian Ocean. If you see the Deccan Peninsula, it also extends into the Indian Ocean. So it helps India to establish close contact with West Asia, Africa also, the African countries like South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Congo, Ethiopia, Egypt. So all these countries in the African continent, we can establish the trade contacts through our sea. And then with Europe also, means from the west coast we can easily have a contact with West Asian countries, African countries and the European countries. So these all are on the west of India. And then from the eastern coast easily we can connect ourselves with the East Asian countries, China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, and the other Southeast countries, Southeast Asian countries, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore. So all these countries we can easily establish a contact through our coastline. And no other country has a long coastline in the Indian Ocean. Okay, Indian Ocean we have the long coastline as India, and so that's why India is having eminent position in the Indian Ocean, which justifies the naming of the ocean after it. Now after this let's talk about Suez Canal also. So before 1869, if the trader has to move from the Indian side to the Europe, then it has to cross full Africa, and then they used to reach to the North Atlantic Ocean. But with the opening of Suez Canal in 1869, now the merchants or the traders, they can easily because students, Red Sea is extension of the Arabian Sea. Okay, but after Red Sea there was no connection between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, but through Suez Canal we got the passage from Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. So now our journey is reduced. From Arabian Sea we can easily enter to the Red Sea, and from Suez Canal we can now enter into the Mediterranean Sea, and we can reach easily to the North Atlantic side. Okay, so this was happening earlier, so this has reduced now journeys after 1869. So how much journey is reduced? 7,000 kilometers. So please keep this in mind. Now moving to page 4 of your book, students, we were discussing already the India and the world, and we have discussed how strategically we are important from the trade perspective, our location, and India's contacts with the world have continued through ages. So Silk Route, you know, the spice route, and her relationship through land routes are much older than the sea contacts. So we were connected to the other countries through our land routes, especially the passes through the mountains in the north. From there the trader used to come, passengers used to come, the ancient travelers, they used to come from that side, and all this religious missionaries, all these traders, they used to come from there only. And the spread of ideas was there, religion was spread, traditions were exchanged, commodities, ideas. So all these were happening through land routes only, and these routes have contributed in the exchange of ideas, I have told you, commodities, since ancient time. And the ideas of our this ancient texts, Upanishads, Ramayana, stories of Panchtantra, they could reach to many parts of the world because of this only, because ancient travelers, when they were moving, they were taking so many things with them, not only the goods, commodities, but ideas also. Okay, germs also they used to carry with them. So due to this, our Indian numeral system, decimal system, they could reach to many parts of the world. Like this only, the printing started, the printing culture started from the China. It went to the Europe like this. Wood block printing was being done in the China. It started in China only, then it went to other parts, to Japan, to Korea, and to Europe. So through these travelers only, through these explorers only, these things used to spread. Then on the other hand, the influence of the Greek sculptures we can see in our buildings, in the architecture, like domes, minarets from the West Asia. So we can see in different parts of our country this influence. So we have adopted also some things from the others. Now India's neighbor, we have to talk about on page 4, Indian neighbors. Who are our neighbors? So India occupies a very important strategic position in South Asia. So we are now 28 states and 8 union territories. So after the scrapping of Article 370, Jammu Kashmir is one UT, and then Ladakh is another, and then Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu, they are being merged on 26 January 2020, and now that is 1 UT. So we are having 8 UTs and 28 states. Now India shared its land boundaries with Pakistan, Afghanistan. If you see, the map is given on page 5 of your book. Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh. So these all are our land neighbors, and our southern neighbors are also there, which consist of 2 island countries, Sri Lanka and Maldives. So these are our neighbors. Now moving to page 5, students. So here we were talking about our neighbors, and we have talked about our land neighbors and southern neighbors across the sea. Two island countries, Sri Lanka and Maldives. Now Sri Lanka is separated by India through a narrow channel of sea formed by Park Strait and Gulf of Mannar. And Maldives Islands, if you see, it is located south of Lakshadweep Island. So this was about our neighboring countries. Keep this in mind, please. You can underline in your book. And India has had strong geographical and historical links with her neighbors. So for more information, you can go through your maps and from atlas also, and you can see how India stands apart from rest of Asia.